Hi, this is Marsha.
And this is Kelly.
We are the 2U's of 2U's Fiber Adventures. Thanks for stopping by.
You'll hear about knitting, spinning, dyeing, crocheting, and just about anything else we can think of as a way to play with string.
We blog and post show notes at 2usfiberadventures.com.
And we invite you to join our 2U's Fiber Adventures group on Ravelry. I'm 100 Projects.
And I am Better in Motion.
We're both on Instagram and Ravelry, and we look forward to meeting you there.
Enjoy the episode. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Marsha. Almost afternoon. I think we talked for over an hour before we started.
I know. It's time to walk the dog.
We haven't talked in a while, so it was nice to have a chat.
Yes, and there's a lot going on, so it's nice to catch up on everything.
Yeah, and you have a trip coming up, and I have school has been going, so yeah, lots to talk about.
Dog things to report.
I have dog things to report. Yes. Shall I just go right into it?
Yeah, go right into dog stuff.
Okay. So last weekend, we went to the German Shepherd Dog Training Club of the San Luis and Santa Maria. Anyway, it was a show in Santa Maria. It was for all breeds of dog, but it was put on by the German Shepherd Obedience Club. And Bailey got her CD. She qualified.
Yay, this is so exciting.
Yeah, 2 days in a row. It was 2 shows in one day. So 2 shows in a row. She got a qualifying score in obedience, and now she has her companion dog or CD title. It's super exciting. Started this last year. People might remember, maybe not. But we started this last year, and she got 2 legs at this same show, and then we tried to get the 3rd one for a long time, and it just didn't happen. And then we took a break. We decided to do rally instead, and so we did rally, and she and I both got a little more time in the ring, ring practice, a little bit better control of our nerves. At least I think I did. And she seemed better too, not quite so lost as she looked last year when it wouldn't go right. So anyway, yeah, very, very exciting. And it was a fun trip. We brought the trailer and we stayed at Pismo Coast Village, the RV park there. Got to take
the one we stayed at for the vintage trailer rally? Okay.
We'll be back there for the vintage trailer rally in November. And we stayed in a different site. We wanted to try out a different location, and we decided that so some of the sites have grass in back of the site, and so there's a little strip of grass between the 2 rows of trailer sites. And so Robert said, let's try one over here. In this area, wouldn't it be nice to have grass? And so we did that, but we decided that we liked the other one better, where we're backed up to the state park that's behind that's just south of the RV park. And the site's a little bigger. What we didn't realize is the site we normally stay in is a little bit bigger. There was barely room to park the truck in the site that we were in. So, but anyway, it was fun. We had a great time. We got to go on the beach. The weather was cool in the morning, warmed up in the afternoon, but it wasn't the kind of weather where the dogs are wilting. And so it was nice. We had a great time.
Well, and I was going to just say, too, that the site that you normally stay at, not only is it bigger, but also it's really close to the beach access, too.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, real close to the beach access. It's funny because usually I go on the beach with you, or I go on the beach by myself with the dogs. Yeah. And this time, Robert was, wasn't doing anything. I said, "You want to come on the beach with us?" So he's like, "Okay." So we did. So then he's like, "Oh, there's actually a dog wash here. We need to wash these dogs off. We need to wash these dogs off." Like, oh, all right. It's not like a full...
So where's the dog wash?
It's just a hose. It's a hose by the stairs.
Oh.
It's not...
Okay.
It's not that at the access where that was near our trailer, our campsite. It's at the next beach access. And literally it's just a hose. It's not like the dog wash you go to at Seabrook. But he's hosing off their legs and hosing off underneath them, and just kind of funny. Like, oh, we need to wash them off. Like, okay, whatever. Not something I've ever done when I came back from the beach with the two dogs. Of course, one of the times I did have to wash off their legs. One of the times I took them out was we didn't even go on the beach. We just went on the little sand trail by the creek, and they were sniffing something by the edge of the creek. And Bailey I think she lost her footing, because then she just suddenly jumped into the creek, which I don't think she would just normally do. I mean, she doesn't mind water, but she doesn't go crazy about actual swimming. So she jumped into the creek, and I had to let go of the leash because, she jumped further than the length of the leash that I had. And then she was all covered with algae slime. And the leash was all covered with algae slime. So I did have to wash her off after that one. But normally that's not part of my beach routine.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, the first time since we're talking about the first time I took Enzo to Seabrook, he was maybe 8 months old, under a year. And my brother insisted that he be washed every day. He'd come back from the beach, go to the dog wash where, soaked up and blow dried and all that stuff every day. And what I kind of discovered, so now what I do is I find the ocean, they're not as smelly from the ocean. And if it's a nice day, just let them dry off and then brush them a little bit, and it comes out.
The sand falls off.
The sand. The sand falls off, and I don't think he has a particularly beachy smell. I don't think he smells. I will say that when I would take him to the dog park north of me that's on Puget Sound, stinky because there's so much, like you said, that algae and seaweed and his and when I would wash it, because he's black, you can't see it, but when I would wash him, the water was sort of green that would come off of him. So Puget Sound, that he needed to be washed. The west, the beach, the Pacific Ocean beach, I don't think is that. It doesn't make him as woofy smelling.
It kind of depends on what's happening at the beach when you're there. And if it's stagnant, like this creek is sort of stagnant, more stagnant, and has algae. But anyway, so that was a fun trip.
Yeah.
And I think it's the first time Robert's been out on that beach, honestly.
Oh, okay.
So, well, thank you. Yeah.
Well, when I
felt like it was a big...
He didn't go out.
Yeah. I felt like it was a big accomplishment. Getting that title for her. So, yeah.
And what's next now? Is dog training all this competition sort of quieting down now that you're back in school?
Well, we have
still going to. I know.
Yeah, we have one more show that I registered for in case this one didn't work. So we had some insurance, and Robert had actually mentioned, do we still even want to go to it? And I was thinking, well, yeah, I want to go because I think it would be good for us to have more ring time plus less pressure, right? Because, we've already qualified. So I'll have less nerves. She'll have an opportunity to be in the ring. But to be perfectly honest, there is a lot going on, and it might just be better to say, well, that entry fee is spent already, and it was insurance, and that's what insurance is for. Sometimes you don't need it, Yeah. So So I don't know. But we do have one more show. Well, it's actually 3 shows in 2 days. In a couple of weeks. So we'll see. Yeah, and Barry's entered there. And there, there's lots more to do in Raleigh that we're not ready to do yet. So there's more training. We did decide to stop the barn hunt training because the times of the training sessions that she had available are all during the day when I'm at work. So, and they aren't days where I can get, where I can actually get away. So,
yeah.
So yeah, that's my dog news.
Okay.
And then, what news do you have? Anything?
I don't have any dog news other than he's just a good boy. He's laying here on the floor next to me. Yeah, I don't know. We did get, Kim, I think it was last Monday, we took them to Marymore and let them run around Marymore. And that was fun, but very dusty. But they, Marymore Park, for if people don't know, it's on the other side of Lake Washington. It's a huge park anyway. And then they have a really large dog park in the center of it. And they also have a dog wash there, which is very nice. And because they were filthy. And then Enzo doesn't go in the water. There's a slough that goes through there. And, but Orkney goes in the water, and then all that dust stuck to him. And then they're roughhousing. So then all that slime gets on Enzo too. And then I don't know what it is. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I don't know what it is about male dogs. But one will go lift their leg to do their business, and the other one sticks their head under there.
Because there must be something good to smell. Yeah. And
both dogs, I mean, Enzo will go lift his leg and Orkney sticks his head under there, and then Enzo does the same thing to Orkney. I don't know what that's about, so we're constantly, but when at the dog park, it's like, oh, well, we know where they're going to get bathed, so.
Right.
Not quite so. And sometimes we can't catch it, but what is it with these guys? That behavior. No. Anyway, I've just been doing things around the house. I've been working on plumbing, working on my window. I was really proud of myself. I finished my window and I thought it was going to fit, and I put it back in and I can't close it. So I was talking about this in the last episode, I think. And I don't know what I said, but I called someone who came and looked at it, and he said he can't fix it, but he gave me a referral for somebody else who just works exclusively on old windows. So they're coming, we are recording on Saturday, and they're coming, I believe, Monday to look at the window. Uh-huh. And if they can't fix it, then I think I will just live with it. I mean, it hasn't closed for, how long have we had this house? 1962? It's not closed since 1962. The world will not end if I can never get it to close.
Right.
But I just been working on stuff. And then I will get to this and when we talk projects, but I did a big cleanup in the basement. And I did a big cleanup in the weaving studio.
Nice.
And I went through a bunch of stuff. And I think, Kelly, do you remember when I thought I was having some problems with my spinning wheel, the little Herbie, and I was panicked, and I had the opportunity to buy an Ashford wheel that was still in the box. It had never been taken out of the box. And it was 25 years old or something. And you came up and we assembled the whole thing. I've never used that wheel. And it's been down the basement. I was thinking maybe I should just get rid of that wheel.
Yeah, someone could use it.
Because someone could use it. So I should probably just get rid of that. And so I did a big cleanup, and I've got more stuff out in the garage now to go to the Goodwill. And I vacuumed and I dusted, and I did a big cleanup down there. It looks a lot better.
Nice.
So, and I really cleaned my weaving studio, and I got the sewing machine, which I think I talked about this in the last one of the episodes, but I bought this sewing machine. It's a Bernina that I bought from the Polly, who cuts my hair, and I used it. First time I've actually used the sewing machine is when I had to sew all those fabric strips together for my rag rugs. And this machine, again, I don't know if I said this in the last episode, the machine is fantastic because it threads the needle for you.
Wow.
And when you get to the end of a seam, it has a little icon button. It's a little button with a scissor icon on it, and you push that, and it like locks the stitch and cuts the thread. I have no idea how it does it. And it's like, I have to say, this machine is too fancy for my brain. I don't know that I have the brain power to actually figure out how to use this machine. And I've been watching YouTube videos, but it's super quiet, and it just like everything is just done for you. And I also realized too, compared to my mother's sewing machine from 1945, it also means there's a lot of things to go wrong on it too, right? Because it's a whole computer system on this machine. But anyway, kind of amazing. And I did watch a video too. I should talk about this. I'll talk about this later. Anyway,
okay.
I just did a big cleanup on my weaving studio, and I did find a desk that I did not think was going to work for the sewing machine, but I got the machine on there, and I think it's going to be great. And I got a light for it now, a desk lamp for it, and I didn't go buy anything for any of this. I just scrounged around
nice
my house and found things, and yeah, so.
Well, that's cool, because you've been saying it's a work in progress, but you haven't worked on it yet about the studio for a long time. So that must feel really good.
And I do have 2 posters that are being framed that are going to go down there. So I have some things, I have little things to work on, but should I just go right into projects since I'm talking about the weaving studio?
Go right ahead.
Because I'm gonna go first because I'm very excited, Callie.
So are we, Marsha.
Finished my rag rugs.
Yes, so are we. We all want to hear about your rag rugs.
I finished those. Yeah, no more going on and on about these rag rugs.
No, I don't mean because of that. I just mean it's exciting.
I know, I'm really excited, and the thing about it is, the most time-consuming thing was the warping the loom and then sewing the strips together. And when I started to say, well, I'm just going to talk about the strips because I cut them into 1-inch strips, which I think going forward, I'm going to make them 1.5 inches. They need to be a little bit wider, I think. But all those little 1-inch strips I sew together on the machine, and there was the technique where you make like a little cut in one end and you loop it through and connect them that way. I also think it's not even really necessary to sew them together. You can just lay them on top of each other as you're weaving. That's sort of like, anyway, you can do that.
Like you do with yarn.
But I also, But I was going to say actually what you do is you take your strips and you cut them in a really long triangle, like a long point kind of. And you do both ends that way and then sort of lay them on top of each other. Sort of like, when you splice yarn together, you remove, if you have like one ply, you remove of each end and then put them together. That's kind of that concept is what you're doing. You're making it really thin, both ends, opposite ends thin kind of, and lay them on each other. Kind of the idea. But there's also, I watched the video where you can sew your fabric into, on one edge, you fold it together, you seam it together, right sides together. And so you have kind of like a big tube. And then there's a technique where you cut it into strips, but you don't cut all the way through the tube. And then you take your scissors and cut that, the uncut part of the fabric, you cut it on an angle. So then when you undo it, it makes, I'm not describing it very well. You have to watch a video, I think, but it makes it one long strip then. That's all the pieces are then sewn together. So I think I'm going to do that the next time because it's a lot of work just sewing all those strips together, little 1-inch sections is a lot of work. So I'm going to try this other technique the next time. But anyway, the weaving goes really fast because like towels I was making, there's like 16 picks per inch, where this is about 4 picks per inch. Because and I think these were 1 inch strips. I think if I actually used 1.5 inches, it'll go really fast.
Yeah, I bet it will.
But I learned some things, and Kelly, you and I had a conversation on the phone about this when I cut them off the loom. So my plan was to make 2 24-inch wide rugs and 36 inches long. And we had a listener recommend a book about rag rugs, which was very helpful. And when we do weaving of like towels and stuff, they have, you allow a 10% take up for to figure out how much warp to put on. The rag rugs, they recommend in their 20%. So I did that. So I added, the width of my warp, I added 20% onto the 24 inches. But what I realized is when I cut it off the loom, so then I wanted them to be 36 inches long. And I actually, to get my pattern to finish, my repeats to finish correctly, I ended up with almost 38 inches. So 2 inches longer than I expected. But when I cut them off the loom and washed them, the final size is 28 inches wide, which is about what I had started with. And they're 32 inches long. So they shrank 5 inches.
In the lengthwise, yeah. But
not
in the
length.
But not
and
width.
So not width. So my theory is, this is my theory. The sheets have been washed thousands of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So any possibility of shrinking is gone. Really,
right,
on the width. And then the warp has never been washed, and it shrinks a lot. I mean, if it shrunk, if you're looking for something that's 36 inches, I can't do the math. What percentage shrunk? If I was targeting 36 inches, I ended up with about 2 inches longer, but it still shrunk down to 32 inches. What's my percentage? Kelly, quickly, math professor. It's more than 20%, isn't it? I don't know.
You had, what did you say? You had 5 inches of shrinkage out of 38. Yeah. So no, that's not 20%, but it's more than 10%.
No. Yeah.
And the other thing that it is, besides actual shrinking, there's two things in addition to actually just like, things shrink when you put them in the wash. So one is that those warp threads are going over and under a really thick thing. So when they're on the loom, they're stretched pretty much parallel to one another, right? But once you put the weft through it, and you're going over and under, and then you take them off the loom and you take them off that tension, the weft is going to push the warp threads in either direction, right? So those when you're weaving, it's the weft that's going under and over, under and over, under and over the really thin thread. But when you take it off the loom, what's really happening is the warp is going over and under the really thick.
The peaks and valleys get greater when you take it off the tension. The peaks and valleys increase,
and they all end up happening in the warp thread as opposed to the weft. There's not very much back and forth movement of the thick fabric strips because they are thick. I mean, there's some, but not very much. They're mostly flat, where it's the warp having to make all the movement to go over and under the weft. So that's one part of why there was so much take up, why there is so much take up in a rag rug. And then the other part is just when you measure on the loom, if you measure while it's under tension, you're always getting a length that's longer than what it really is. So even if you didn't have that other part of the, the warp threads having to do more traveling because of the thick weft, you'd still have less length because the threads are all stretched out when you measure. Or at least that's usually for me. Sometimes I think to myself, I should really take the tension off and measure it with the tension off. Yeah. And then put the tension back on. But I rarely think to do that. I just usually measure with the while it's on the loom in the regular way, and just let the calculation of the take up take care of that. But I can see why that could be. I mean, that's kind of a big surprise how much shrinkage and take up you had. Yeah, in the length.
I love them though, and I have to say, super fun project. It doesn't bother me. I think it doesn't bother me that they're not the size I thought they were going to be. They look a little weird. They're more square than rectangular shape, but I think they look really great. Yeah, and it's so interesting how I'm really excited about trying other sheets, other printed sheets, because the one that I thought so I had 3 sheets. One was just a solid teal color. One was a blue, like a pale blue and white stripe. And the other one was like, we talked about this before, was like little tiny, they look like dots, but they were like leaves and little tiny stems kind of. And the one that was, of course, the solid one is just solid, obviously. The one that was the little leaf print, that is sort of an all over modeled look kind of, but the stripe one is the one I think is so interesting because I cut the strips across the stripe. So, and the stripes are like 1/2 inch. So every 1/2 inch, it was, the blue, white all the way across. So when you're weaving with it, it makes it, sometimes it looks sort of like a chevron. Sometimes it looks a little like a checkerboard, depending on how the fabric is laying down on top of each. Super interesting. I like really fun. Just that was, I think, my favorite sections to weave. Yeah. Because it's so much fun to see how it changes. So it was, anyway, I'm so excited about this that I ordered a whole bunch of
I saw that
more warp for the, I bought 3 colors. I got red, green, blue, white, and orange. And I think I have 1,600 yards of each color. I went a little nuts.
That's fun.
But I was thinking, because I was thinking, all of a sudden I thought when I was weaving, it's like, well, the warp doesn't have to be white. I just had this kind of creamy, natural colored warp that I bought for something else and just decided to use that. But I thought, the warp doesn't have to be white or cream. It could be any color you want. And so when I went to Eugene Textiles, they had like 50 colors you can choose from.
And you can use that warp thread as weft too. I mean, I've used it in some dish towel patterns. I used it for something else that I made. I can't remember, like a chair pad or something. Yeah, you can use it for a lot of things besides the rug warp. If you wanted, if you had some left, or if you wanted to make a different project. No, that's exciting. I'm excited for you to have rugs that you could change out every week. You could have a different rug in your kitchen every week.
Yeah. Yes, I know. And I was thinking too. They go so fast. Once you warp the loom, well, this is true of weaving in general. I mean, there can be really complicated patterns that take a long time. But once you warp the loom and you're just doing, what do you call it? Straight draw, plain weave, whatever you call it. Once you get that on there, I mean, that's pretty easy to thread all those heddles and stuff. The weaving goes pretty fast. Now, I will say it's not like the shuttle with the bobbin in there. You could just throw it back and forth. Yeah. This one, you have to wind off some of the fabric, and you can kind of push it through, but it's not like weaving with a shuttle with a bobbin in it. It's a little more time consuming. And I did try and maybe this is necessary, maybe it's not necessary, but I did try to the side that's facing me to get the print side of the fabric up and the wrong side facing down. That didn't always work because as you're compressing it, sometimes it's just sides it's going to roll over, you know. But so there's a little bit of fiddling, but it goes pretty fast and completely destroyed the room in terms of threads. Because the other thing I didn't realize is I use the roller cutter to cut all of the fabric, but it also means you have a ton of fiber coming off of the rugs as you're weaving it, and little threads and fiber. And then I would have to cut off sections of the, when I had to change colors, you had to cut the fabric to make that long tapered end so you could lay the fabrics on each other. And me not having a waste paper basket down there, or having one but not using it because I'm so excited, I'm just throwing this all over the place. So I should really post a picture of what it looked like after I finished weaving, because it was,
weaving is messy. I'm a messy weaver.
It's very messy.
I mean, I just clean up
But I did not realize, I just didn't realize how much fiber actually was going to come off those fabric strips. But it makes sense because you're not like tearing the fabric down the line, the weave structure, you're cutting across. And so there's all these little pieces coming off, super fun. I'm really excited. And I would be warping the loom today if I was not getting ready to leave on Thursday to go out of town.
Or recording a podcast.
or fixing stuff around that, getting ready to leave and doing all that stuff I have to do. So really fun. Oh, and
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say too, we did have a listener who was concerned about weaving rugs on my loom, and was it going to hurt the loom? Didn't seem to hurt the loom at all. It seems fine. I have not had any problems. I will say it was easier to weave if I did not have a lot of tension on the warp. It created a larger shed if I did not have a lot of tension, and I had to advance a lot. You could not weave too close to the reed. I mean, probably every 10 to 15 picks I had to advance.
Right.
So a lot of advancing, because otherwise the shed wouldn't open up enough to get the
shuttle is so large.
The shuttle through.
Plus each, the number of picks per inch is small. So it's small. So you're making a lot of inches with each, with each throw of the shuttle, you're making a lot of inches. And so you quickly get to the point where you can't advance, you have to advance the weaving because you can't get the shuttle through. Well, this is exciting, Marsha. I'm so glad that you like it, that you had as much fun as you thought you were going to have.
Oh yeah. It was super fun. I will say, I think it's so fast. I think you could probably weave one rug in probably about an hour. But I was having to stop to, if you didn't have to walk the dog, eat, go to the bathroom, make dinner. No, but I had to stop too and refill the bobbins because I had to keep sewing more strips together.
Right.
But I think if I timed it where I was in between walking dog and I didn't have to sew all the strips, you could probably weave a rug in an hour, probably.
I bet that's right.
Hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah. I bet that's right.
So I recommend it to anybody. Super fun.
Well, I'll measure the time it takes when I start working on the chenille rug, because it's essentially the same thing. It's just instead of fabric strips, it's the chenille caterpillars. I'm excited to do that project, but it's a ways away.
And I think with my next one, I think I put a 4-yard warp on there. I think I'd put a longer warp on and make at least 4 rugs, or because I don't necessarily need all those rugs, but I now have all of these sheets, and that's the other thing I was going to say too. I did not know how many sheets I needed for 2 rag rugs. And I was reading someplace, because I don't think it says in the book on rag rugs. I don't recall. I don't think it said in there. So I was just looking online, and they were saying you needed I think I read this, 4 to 5 pounds of sheets to make a rug, like a 24 by 36 inch rug.
That seems weird.
that is not
that
true.
means your
So
rug would be 4 to 5 pounds. Like your rug would weigh that much. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is, I haven't done it yet, but I weighed my I don't want to call it fiber, but I weighed all my sheets, the cut strips, all of them before I started, and now I put them all. I bagged them up individually in Ziploc bags. I just now need to weigh what I have left to figure out approximately how many pounds I need for two rugs.
Well, and it would differ depending on the fabric you use, I think, because if you were using flannel, for example, that would be a different picture. Or if you're doing the denim rugs like Kathy does, that'd be a different way.
Well, and then I was wondering, some people, they use T-shirts. And then I was thinking too, and now this is crazy, but I wonder if you could use bath towels and cut those into
I've heard of people doing that.
And then how it would work for a bath mat. Would it be a really absorbent bath mat?
I'm pretty sure there's someone who listens who's posted somewhere on Ravelry at some point about making those. Yeah, that sounds like a project that I've heard someone talking about.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Have you had time to do any other projects with all the rug making and butter making?
Okay, so I had finished. I think I had talked about. I finished a pair of socks last episode, so I cast on. I'm just working through my old stash, so I'm using Red Heart and Soul, and I think this is the one that has aloe in it. I think. Let me look here.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
with aloe. This is so old. I think I bought it in 2010, 2012 or something. This is really old stash. And I'm the colorway Blackjack. And it's black, and then it has not regular stripes, sort of irregular stripes going through it that have coral and yellow and a magenta white going through it and some green. So it's kind of interesting. I'm working on those. And I've just on the first sock, I am halfway down the foot. And I don't think I've knit on the deer scarf at all. So I am going to take the scarf with me when I leave on Thursday. And so I'll maybe work on the deer scarf for Ben for the concrete deer lawn ornament. And the only other thing I have on here is my next cast on. So I was talking about doing Space Time by Heidi Kirrmaier using my handspun in the kind of the pink and green. And the last episode I couldn't make it. I was I'm really on the fence about that funnel neckline.
Oh, right. You had mentioned that.
And so I don't know if this, and I remember it said, that's why our, the title of our last episode about controlling our impulses, because I did not want, it said, if you're unsure which style you want, you should swatch for it. And I thought, I'm not going to do it. So, I've decided, I'm going to make, I don't know if this is good or bad or not. I'm going to make Mountain High by Heidi Kirrmaier. And this is the one I made it before. And then I made it a second time, but with the ill-fated,
yes,
green handspun.
The Felted project.
Yes. But I like the fact that you just start, because what I'm planning on doing is not alternating skein, so it'll take full effect of that gradation between the pink and green. You'll really see that because it's very subtle. And this one you just cast on and you just start increasing, and then you do break, for the arms go on, and then you just pick up on the body. And I think it'll be better. There won't be, I was looking at other sweaters that, where you have to knit back and forth and then you join in the round. And I don't think I want that for this color gradation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's because I'm not sure I want a funnel collar. So
right. I think that's a good idea. I mean, you really like the sweater that you have, and I think it looks really good.
Yeah.
It's a nice pattern. Tried and true is the right thing.
Mm-hmm. But I also, I had a lot of disappointment and drama the last time I made it. But it was not the sweater pattern. It was not the designer. It was not the pattern.
No, it was not totally after this thing was done.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not even going to say it was you. It's the stupid newfangled washing machines that don't let us have control over spinning. I mean, that's all you were doing was, well, we don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, let's not talk about it anyway. Anyway, I'm excited. I'm going to cast that on. I don't know if I'll cast on, the other night I was sort of working on my math about what size I want to make, and which is good, because I've made it before, but I want to have a little bit more ease, I think, this time. So I'm going to figure out my math on that. I'm going to finish that, and I don't know if I'm going to cast on before I go, or I think that at the retreat that I'm going to, they're having a cast on party.
Oh, fun.
So I may cast on there to be part of the group. I can't remember. But the only thing is sometimes I might just cast on my own, because sometimes I need to be in private when I do these things,
it might be easier to cast on something very plain if you were going to join the cast on party. Yeah. Something that once you cast on, the next part of the knitting is still easy.
A sock or a hat or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, I may just sit and join the cast on party to socialize, but not actually cast on.
Yeah.
I don't think. Okay. So that's it for me for projects.
All right. So before I start my projects, I had a couple of notes at the beginning that I think I skipped over.
Yes, because that's my fault, Kelly, because I went right into my project.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Because I see this here.
It's no problem. And another note, well, never mind about that note. I'll just go to these so I don't get distracted. So there's a comment from the blog. I did remember to check it. So Prue Hill had mentioned the BBC's food program did a show on butter last month. Marsha might enjoy it. And so if any of you were interested in making butter, since Marsha talked about it last episode, you might also enjoy seeing the BBC's food program on butter. And I don't know, Marsha, if you would be able to link to that in the show notes, or I'm sure you can just search and find it.
So I just, before we started recording, I did a quick search, just Googled it, and something came up with the BBC, and it was posted August 22nd, 2025. So just last month. It's 42 minutes long. I have to say, I'm not sure if this is a video or audio, like from a radio, a radio program or a television program. So I'll do a little bit more research and figure out what this is. But I was just reading through just the description, and it says, Butter superfan Felicity Cloak asks whether the movement against ultra-processed foods is linked to a recent rise in popularity of her favorite kitchen staple, which is butter. And it goes on, and then at the very end, it says the program features a short excerpt of the song, Please Leave My Butter Alone, by Elsie Carlisle. So I'm going to have to take a listen to this.
It might be worth a listen just to hear the song. Please leave my butter alone.
Yeah. So whatever I find out, I'll post it in the show notes. I'll see if I can post a link to it. Well,
all right, good.
My butter's gone. And we were talking about this before we started recording, about how I had said, we were talking about how I had to try to get all the buttermilk out because the butter might go rancid, and you're like, it doesn't stay around long enough for it to go rancid. I have to tell you, I had the butter for over 3 weeks, and I would, and it never went rancid in that time. So it was fine.
So you were controlling your impulses. That was the theme of our show last week. You were controlling your impulses with your butter to make it last 3 weeks.
Well, I was not going to say this, but now I was not controlling my impulses. It did last that long, but it was quite a large piece, and I would take this is terrible. It was cold in the refrigerator, so it's hard to spread cold butter, right? So I would just use the cheese slicer to slice off pieces of butter to put on my toast. So I was having a little toast with my butter, is that really what I was doing? Because I was slicing it off like cheese. And it was very good. It was very good. There's no question. It was delicious. So there you go.
Nice. And then one other shout out. I just wanted to give some good wishes to Littletownknitter Tracy, who's recovering from surgery. We actually know Tracy in person. She is one of the people that we've met at the Knockers retreat, and she lives in California. So, Tracy, hope you're doing great, and sending you our good wishes for a speedy recovery.
I've been following her. I follow her on Instagram, and she's been posting pictures of her recovery, and she's got a lot of support from her husband, but also her dog.
Yes,
the dog won't leave her side apparently. So
she has a darling,
very sweet,
a darling corgi. Yeah, Zoe.
Yeah.
So my projects. I started and finished a hat in the time since you last heard from us. When we went to the dog show, I started a spirit yarn hat, and I didn't do the bank head hat like I've done a lot of times. I just did some texture stitches, some moss stitch, and some, moss and seed. Moss stitch and seed stitch.
Oh, yeah.
In this hat. And I took it to school this week, and I was a little disappointed because when I went by it the next day, it was still there. Went by the table, but it's been really muggy this week. Not super warm, but in the low 70s, low to mid 70s, and really muggy. So I can understand why no one is taking a hat from the free table just yet.
Yeah,
So I worked on that while we were on the dog show trip. And then also in the car that day on the way down, I put the ears on. I had 3 flat little Izzy Bear tubes that needed to have ears. And so I put the ears on them, which is a fiddly little job. It's fast, but it was, you have to pick up stitches, and then you have to, increase on 2 rows and decrease on 2 rows, and then slide all the stitches off. Super fast, right? But fiddly enough that I hadn't done it. So I just, I was captive audience in the truck, and I put the ears on the bears. And then while we've been sitting and talking this morning, I stuffed the bears, sewed down their arms, so now they look like they have the arms with the hands in the pockets, and sewed up the bottom. So my other 3 bears, I had sent 4 of them already to school. So I've got another 3 bears of varying sizes. That just now, all they need now are their faces. And I don't have any yarn on my desk nearby that's the right color for a face, dark enough, for eyes to show up. And so they'll have to wait to be finished, but I'm very close to having those finished. And you might be wondering if I finished my handspun sweater, and the answer to that question is no, but not for any bad reason. I am on the ribbing. I think I maybe have half an inch of ribbing left before I bind off. And I am tempted, and I think I'm going to do it before I decide if 1/2 inch is the right amount. I think I'm going to put it back onto the try it on tubing and try it on and just make sure that I like the length. And that's kind of why it's where it is, because I needed to put it onto tubing. And so I didn't bring it to, our first day of school. I didn't bring it with me to work on during the, those first 2 days where there's only faculty. I haven't brought it to any meetings. I haven't picked it up in the evening to knit on. So that's why it's just kind of been, I didn't bring it on the trip because I needed to, well, actually I did bring it on the trip, but I didn't get it out. So it's sitting, but I am going to finish it soon because I really want to wear it. We're scheduled to get really warm weather next week. So I'm not going to have an opportunity to wear it for a little while, but I'm excited about it. I love how it looks. I just need to get the ribbing finished. And I did decide, Marsha, to do a 1x1 broken rib. The sleeves are 1x1 rib. The collar is 1x1 rib. And so I decided to do, I usually do a 2x2 rib at the bottom of a sweater. And I've done it in broken rib, but I thought, okay, well, no, I'll do the 1x1 broken rib since you said you had done that on the, which one was that? That's the,
it's the
Andrea Mowry sweater.
Well, I did it on Happiness.
Okay.
And then I think, isn't that what you do on what's the one that we just made?
Graffito?
What's the one that, Graffito, thank you.
I
think that's
didn't do 1x1 on Graffito.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's, yeah. So anyway, since you had said you had done it and I was pretty sure I wanted a broken rib, I just went ahead with the 1x1 that matched all the rest of the ribbing on the sweater. So just have a little bit to go. It's just sort of languishing because I have a billion ends to weave in. And that's what I should be doing while I can't actually knit on it yet because I don't know quite how long to make it. What I really should be doing is, okay, well, that's fine. Just get it out and start weaving in some ends. But I haven't done that. What I did knit on during the school days, the first couple of days of school where it was only faculty, are those socks, the fireweed socks, in that sort of bright magenta and khaki green. And I finished them, and I've been wearing them. That is the greatest color. You need to dig that yarn out and use it. Because you said you have some too, right?
Yes, I have a skein for myself, and then I also bought the lace weight mohair. That goes with it, and I was thinking I would hold those together and make a hat.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, it's a beautiful color.
It started it.
And I love my socks. They striped really nicely, sort of spiral pooling, spiral striping. And I like them because they're so bright that, you know how when you walk and your pants move and people can see your socks?
Yeah.
I know that people are going to notice them. Like if they're at all glancing that direction, they're going to catch that flash of bright fireweed magenta. So anyway, I like that. And enough people know me that they're like, oh, did you make those socks?
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's my knitting. I think that's all the knitting. I did do a little bit of combing right prior to the end of the Tour de Fleece. I have only the very stickiest part of my CVM left. And I really debated whether I wanted to wash that and finish combing because it needs to be washed. It's just impossible to comb without another wash. I was debating whether I wanted to actually wash it or whether I just wanted to say, okay, the rest of these leftovers are just going to go and mulch a plant. But it's a nice part of the fleece. I mean, the part that I'm on right now, even though it's sticky, it is nice fleece. So I decided to go ahead and do that. I haven't done it yet, but I am going to finish combing it. I have it all sitting in the garage. I did do a little bit more carding just prior to the end of the not Tour de Fleece, the summer spin-in. Just prior to the end of the summer spin-in, I did a little more carding of the merino and silk.
Okay.
And I do have still some more to wash, but I did wash a little bit more of it. So I've been washing it in batches. I mean, I already washed the whole fleece, but it was merino. It's still greasy. And so I'm just washing it one more time. And that seems to be enough. The final wash seems to be working. So that's just kind of there. And those were all things I did right in like almost the last hours, like that Labor Day weekend, those last hours leading up to Monday when the auction was, because, the more I could get out of my stash, the better if I were going to buy something. But I didn't buy anything. I came home without a fleece for the first time.
Oh my gosh.
Ever. Yes.
Will you ever have it, Kelly, will you ever have a chance to buy another fleece now that you passed up this opportunity? Because this might have been the last fleece that you might be able to ever buy.
It might have. Like, I may never have another opportunity to buy another fleece. And you know what? I could go for a long time with the ones in my garage. I do think it was the fact of like working on all that fleece this summer. And it's very satisfying because I do have a little booklet that has my fleece inventory in it. And it was very satisfying as I, gave away leftovers, as I finished up leftovers this summer, as I finished washing them to like update that inventory to say, this is gone, this is gone, this fleece is gone, this fleece is gone. This little box of leftovers is gone. This one that's raw, now I switched it to washed. So that was very satisfying to do. And the thought of looking at that, reduced inventory then being increased, I don't know, it made me really picky. It made me really picky. And there was not much that I was really interested in. And the ones that I was interested in, of course, other people were also very interested in. And so I didn't even have to worry that they were going to go no sale. Although a lot did go no sale, I have to say. But most of what was no sale this year was really expensive fleece. Well, expensive compared to the cost to produce it. I'm not saying that. But, the ones that were, their starting bid was higher than the others. So starting bids of $20, $25 a pound. A lot of those fleeces went no sale, where in prior years, even fleeces that were, $6, $7, $8 a pound, those were the ones that like are in that sweet spot where I'd be like, oh my God, I can't let this go no sale. So I didn't have that feeling this year. And I came home with only good memories. So my fleece inventory has not grown. And I'm okay. Then that's good. And I wanted to report out a little bit on the natural dyeing experiment because I did continue with that a little bit too. I had 3 skeins that I spun up. I don't know, maybe it was last year, right before the summer spin-in. I can't remember. It was from D-Stash. It was Spirit Fleece, merino and Polworth silk, and I had made, I think, 3 small skeins, maybe 2 skeins. It's about 150 grams is what I ended up with of yarn, and I dyed it with fig leaves. And this time I did a little different strategy. So then my other projects, my other experiments, I had mordanted the yarn or the wool, and then just taken it out of the mordant pot and just squeezed it out and then put it in the dye pot.
Mm-hmm.
While it was still wet. I didn't rinse it or anything. I just put it in the dye pot. And then I read something that said that that you can get more efficient dyeing if you don't have all that extra mordant, like taking the dye. So if you take the wool, you pre-mordant it with alum is what I was using. You soak it in the alum water, and then you take it out of the alum water So, cook it a little bit in the alum water. The alum attaches to the yarn, and then you take it out of the alum water and rinse it. And so anything that's not attached to the yarn is gone. And then I let it dry, and then the next day put that into the dye pot so that you don't have excess alum that's not attached to the yarn also attaching to the dye. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So anyway, I tried it, and I got it wasn't green the way the thing online said, this is the color you're going to get from fig leaves. It's a kind of a green color. It's actually gold, but it is leaning a little bit gold. I mean, a little bit green. It's a green leaning gold. So I did make a project page for this morning so that people can take a look at all the different ones that I've done. And I am going to do some more. I think, now that I don't get disappointed by the color, it's a little more fun to do this. The first time around when I was dyeing things, it was exciting because I didn't know what I was going to get. And I was, thinking I was going to get the color in the dye pot. So like you look in your pot and you see this pink water and you think you're going to get pink on your fiber and you get beige. Or you have this really pretty green or teal color and you think you're going to get that on your fiber and you get beige. Like, so now I sort of know that's going to happen.
I'm sorry, Kelly, but it's funny because it's true.
Yes. And if
you're
you
just
look,
managing your expectations now.
I'm managing my expectations. And just to show you what I mean, if you go look on my project page, I've linked it in the show notes. There's a picture down near the bottom where I have the dyed fiber and the undyed fiber. And so I had dyed, this was with pelargonium leaves, and I got kind of an orange leaning beige. So, but the funny thing is that I dyed California red fleece and I dyed border Leicester fleece. And the California red fleece is, well, let me just say, the border Leicester is a bright, bright white. And by dyeing it, you can see down below in the picture, by dyeing it with the pelargonium leaves, I got sort of an orange leaning beige, which is exactly the same color as the undyed California red at the top of the picture on the other side. Right? And then when I dyed the California red, which is already orange leaning beige, with the pelargonium leaves, I got a more orange leaning, darker beige. It's like, okay, so what I can get with natural dyes is the colors that I can get with natural fleeces. And then if you look at the picture of the dye pot with the purple leaf plum leaves, you have this nice, nice reddish, pinkish, purplish dye pot color, and then you look at what I got for the color, and it's basically grayish beige.
Yes, it looks in the dye pot. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it didn't.
What a great color.
Yeah, except that's not the color.
That's not the color you.
No, and so
excuse me.
The only color that I've gotten so far that isn't the color of a fleece on a sheep, that I could have gotten by looking through my fleece stash is the goldish green that I got on the merino polar silk. Anyway, It's fun.
And remind me again, the goldish greenish one is
Fig
what was
leaves.
that? Is that
Fig leaves.
The fig leaves. Okay.
Yeah. And I have 2 pictures on my project page, and one shows the kind of goldish green color against a towel. And it's really kind of dark. And then the other one is that skein along with my other skeins. And in that picture, it looks really light yellow. And that's not accurate. That's not really accurate. Well, neither of them are probably totally accurate. It's probably somewhere in the middle of both of them.
But the one on the grass, that's the least accurate?
I think so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's more that kind of more green than goldy than the yellow, would you say?
Yes, it's more gold than yellow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, against the grass, it sort of looks yellow, but it is more of a gold color. So anyway, yes, managing my expectations with natural dyes has been, and it has made it more fun. And so I'm going to try. I'm going to do some more with the I think I'm going to do some more with the California red fleece. So I have like a few different colors of that California red to card together. Because that'll be a fleece that I want to spin. I've got it all washed, and I'm going to want to spin it. But I'm not going to want to spin a fleece in its natural color, the whole fleece. I'm going to want it to be dyed. So, so anyway, that's my projects. So the next, I don't know what's next for me, but I have some finishing to do, and then we'll see what I get done next.
Your next project has to be those chenille rugs. Well, not next project because it's a project, but. Because I want to see those woven up. Yeah, I think I will, and I think I'll just go ahead and put them on my Leclerc, because I'm still not sure what to do about the missing piece on the sidewalk loom. And Robert said, he could figure it out, but he's got lots of other projects going on, and I'm not sure I want to wait for him to figure it out. So I have some ideas too, but. I could get it on the loom faster if I at least put the first ones on the Leclerc. I have enough of that chenille that I can make multiple warps of rugs. So anyway. Okay. Yeah. So shall we do summer spin-in prizes? Yes, let's do it. All right. This is the most exciting part of the podcast. We saved it to the very end. Yeah, really. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and start. We had 2 donated prizes this year. Mimi Fan donated a skein of sock yarn. It's Haute Knit sock yarn. It's a merino nylon, and the colorway is in multicolored neons. And the winner of this prize is Crystal81. Crystal, congratulations! Woo-hoo. Yeah. And for all of the winners, just go ahead and get in touch with me, and I'll make sure that we get your prizes to you, or get the people notified who are going to be sending you your prizes. So Crystal, you can contact me, or you can contact Mimi Fan on Ravelry. Either way is fine. You can contact me, and I can contact her. And if you want to see a picture of the yarn, I've linked to it in the show notes. And then we have another donated prize. Excuse me. We have an anonymous adventurer and former prize winner who has donated funds for us to offer patterns for our prize winners when there would be the shipping or tariffs might be too high. And so we have a pattern of your choice up to $15. And this one is for Knitting Bandit 1, Lorna. All right. Congratulations. Yeah. Lorna did lots and lots of skeins of different colors of yarn that she's going to put into. At least some of them are going to go all into one project. So that'll be fun to watch that project come together. And then we have abstract fiber gift cards. Do you want to do these, Marsha? Yeah. So abstract fiber gift cards, we have 2 of them. And the winner of the first one is Roving KF Holly. And the second one goes to Rima Thews Rochelle.
I think it's R.L. Matthews.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have my glasses on. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
That is an L and not an I.
Well, how could you tell?
R.L. Matthews. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So Holly and Rochelle also go ahead and just get in touch on Ravelry, Instagram, email, and we can get those gift cards to you. And then the final 3 prizes, or actually 4 prizes. I'll do the first 2 and you can do the second 2. Are Halloween stitch markers. And the first prize winner of these is Twin Set Jan. So Jan, you won some stitch markers for Halloween. And then the second one is Heidi Craft. You also won some stitch markers.
Okay. You want me to do the last one in the stitch markers? Is Boston Jen.
Yay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yay. Sorry. And then you want to do the last one here?
Sure.
The
So same Halloween theme, but they are crochet stitch markers, or you can use them as progress keepers. They have the little clip, so you can move the stitch marker somewhere else, either or use it with your crochet. And that's for Knittin' Mama 3, Suzanne.
All right, congratulations.
Yeah, it was fun. I loved seeing everybody's projects.
Yeah. Really fun. And people, they spun, they knit, people made sweaters, chickens, emotional support chickens, hats, all kinds of things. Super fun to watch.
Yeah, processing of fleece. Some people were joining me in that endeavor. So yeah, it was another successful summer spin-in. So thank you everyone for participating. We'll have to do it again soon. Like next year.
We'll have to do it again next year. Yeah. And then we'll just mention it. We haven't set the dates, but we always do, of course, the winter weave along. So we'll announce the dates about that.
Yeah, that's coming soon.
Yeah. Okay, and then moving on, Lambtown Festival is October 4th through 5th. In Dixon, California. And Kelly, you've decided you're not going,
That's
right?
correct, yeah. I'm not going to be able to make it with the other stuff that I've got going on. So I won't be going.
Okay.
But it should be a good time. It's gotten bigger and bigger every year since Stitches West was, closed, is no longer. Yeah. And so Lambtown has been growing, and they have one of these days, I think I'd like to take the bus. Although just getting to the bus would be a trip. But there's a bus that leaves from Oakland and goes up to Lambtown and comes back in the same day. And I think that sounds really fun. Just to sit on a bus with a bunch of people all going, and then sit on the bus with them on the way back and see what everybody bought, and, get out your knitting. And so anyway, I think that'd be fun, but it won't be something I do this year.
Okay. Well, and then I leave Thursday, flying into Reno for the 2 Knit Lit. I have a hard time saying this. The 2 Knit Lit Chicks podcast get together in Lake Tahoe, California. It's the 18th through the 21st. So
nice.
And I think there's around 20 people. I've got the roster. I haven't counted it up. So it's not as big as Knockers. But it looks like we're staying at it's called, where are we staying? It's called Zephyr Point, I think. It's a retreat center, and it's apparently right on the lake. So I'm taking my swimsuit. I'm hoping that well, Kelly, you and I had talked about this before, but I'm going in the lake. I keep saying, hopefully the weather will be nice. I can go in the lake. I'm going in the lake no matter what, because I've never been to Lake Tahoe. I have to go in the lake, right? At least try it. So I was looking at pictures. It looks like there is a bit of a beach there, like a little bit of a sandy shoreline, so I can get in the water that way, hopefully. And very well organized, because they've even everybody coordinated with rides, so I don't have to rent a car. My understanding, it's about an hour drive from the Reno airport to the place where we're staying. And Data Knitter, Pat, is picking me up with another woman, and Kate, I think, who's also in Seattle. She's going to be on the same flight. She's picking both of us up and taking us to the retreat center. And so everybody's coordinated rides, which is really nice, because I discovered that if I rented a car for this whole amount of time, it was more expensive than the actual retreat to rent a car. So I'm really pleased that I don't have to do that. And then I'm being picked up, and I think that's great. And then being dropped back off again. So really nicely, it seems like it's being really well organized. And I was looking at the thread this morning, and they posted a picture of our gift bags, just the bags themselves. And somebody has hand sewn all of our gift bags, the little bag that our spiffs are going in. So very sweet.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So my only thing now I need to figure out is how to get to the airport in Seattle. I think what I'm going to do is drive and just park my car at the airport in one of those, not at the airport parking, but the private parking lots. It's less, I was looking this morning, and it's less expensive to do that for 4 days than to Uber both ways. So.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to, just park my car. Anyway, I think that's it. Anything else?
I don't think so. I think that's everything we needed to. I think that's everything we needed to say.
Okay. Well, we're never out of things to say, but we'll stop.
That's true.
I always think of Robert, when we would get off the phone or something, and he'd say, "What did you guys talk about?" And you're like, "I don't know."
And nothing.
He said, "But you were on there for 2 hours." I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what we talked about. Anyway, okay. All right. Well, I will let you go. It's a beautiful day here in Seattle. I need to go walk the dog and start. I have a lot of things I need to do before I leave on Thursday, like pay bills and get instructions to the dog sitter and buy dog food, and I have a lot of things I need to take care of. It's always, everybody knows, like getting ready to leave is not that simple. And
it makes you wonder if it's worth going.
Yeah. Okay. Thinking about that, we are going to say goodbye here in a second, but Kim, she left this week. I think she left Wednesday. This is Saturday. I think she left Wednesday, and she's joining her cousin in Venice. She's had a whole trip planned. Anyway, the point of this is that she said, I can't believe, like, she's bought a whole new wardrobe and she's doing all this stuff to go. And her comment to me when we got together on Monday at the dog park, she said, "Gosh," she said, "it's so exhausting getting ready to go." She said, "I remember when she was in college, she had a year abroad, and the summer she traveled all around Europe with a backpack, and she had 2 pairs of pants, 3 pairs of underwear, and 2 shirts." Wow. That's what she had. And she traveled for 3 months with that. Mm-hmm. And she said, "I don't know, how did I do that?" And I said, "You had to do it because you didn't have to carry the meds. You didn't have to, you have more money to buy all these clothes. Mm-hmm. You didn't have the money to buy all the clothes then. Yeah. You didn't have a dog that you had to figure out dog care. You didn't have a house that you had to figure out all of that stuff. You didn't have, you didn't have mail, newspapers, all the stuff that we now have to you have to, when you're young, your parents are taking care of the bills, right? Right. When you're, this age, you have to take care of it all, right? And then you throw pets into it and watering plants and it becomes a big deal. You just can't throw some underwear and a toothbrush in the knapsack and head out the door.
True.
Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
So, life changes.
It gets more complicated.
So, it gets more complicated. Yeah. The more we have, the more we have to just deal with. So, anyway. Okay. Well, on that note, I guess we really should say goodbye.
All right. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. To subscribe to the podcast, visit 2usfiberadventures.com.
Join us on our adventures on Ravelry and Instagram. I am Better in Motion, and Kelly is 100 Projects.
Until next time, we're the 2Us
Doing our part for World Fleece.